My husband deceived me into marriage that he is a rich man. That man is a bloody liar. He lied to me that he is a car dealer and even took me there by not knowing he's just a manager there collecting salary. My husband proposed to me inside his own car dealership, surrounded by 6 spotless Mercedes-Benz SUVs, and slid what he swore was a $14,000 diamond ring onto my finger. The ring was actually $89 on Amazon. I found the crumpled paper receipt hidden inside a rolled-up pair of socks in his dresser drawer. Those luxury cars did not belong to him, and he was not a car dealer. He was just the floor manager who mopped the showroom tiles at 6 in the morning and collected a miserable salary at the end of the month. That man is a bloody liar. His name is Kelvin. When I met him, I was 29 years old, working as a tired bank teller, absolutely exhausted from my mother constantly telling me I was being too picky about men. He came into my bank branch wearing a suit that literally shined under the fluorescent lights, a heavy gold watch, and cologne so strong it choked the entire room. He walked right up to my counter and announced, loud enough for everyone in the line to hear, "I own Prestige Autos on Airport Road, and I came to deposit cash for my staff." He asked me out that exact same day. He took me to the dealership after hours. You have to understand what a moment like that does to a girl like me who has been struggling. He had the heavy keys. All the showroom lights were left on. He opened the door of a brand new G-Wagon, sat me inside the leather seats, and told me to pick any car I wanted because it would be mine the day I became his wife. I said yes 6 months later. I foolishly left my stable job because he looked at me and said, "My wife does not work." I moved out of my tiny one-bedroom apartment and moved into his mansion, which I later found out was just a short-let Airbnb he rented for 2 weeks, strictly to impress my parents. My parents were completely fooled. They sprayed him with prayers and handed him our entire family savings, 4 million naira, for a direct investment in his dealership. Our wedding was massive. He secretly paid for the entire thing using high-interest loans. The first real crack happened on our honeymoon in Ghana. The hotel receptionist called our room and said our card was declined. He just laughed it off easily. "Network issue from Nigeria, babe. Just use your card. I will transfer you double the money tomorrow." I used my card. The second crack shattered my entire reality. I went to the dealership to surprise him with lunch. I had never been there during actual working hours because he always kissed my forehead and said, "Babe, don't stress yourself. I will be home early. We are rich." That day, I walked through the glass doors at 1 in the afternoon, carrying a food container. Prestige Autos is actually owned by a Lebanese man named Mr. Hadi. I met him that exact day because he was standing in the middle of the showroom, screaming at the top of his lungs at my husband. "Kelvin, I told you not to sit in the cars with the customers," Mr. Hadi yelled. "You are a manager, not the owner. You clean, you arrange the keys. You do not promise people a discount you cannot actually give." My husband, my rich car dealer husband, was standing there holding a wet mop. He was wearing a cheap uniform polo shirt with the word "staff" printed on the back. He had no suit and no gold watch. His face when he turned around and saw me standing there is something I will never forget. It was not shame. It was pure, terrified panic. He looked exactly like a thief caught in the act. He dropped the mop, ran over to me, grabbed my arm, and dragged me outside into the heat. "Do not mind him," Kelvin stammered quickly. "He is my business partner. He is just angry because of a shipment." I pulled my arm away and asked him, "You are just a manager?" He got defensive immediately. "Senior manager," he lied. "It is the exact same thing as being the owner. I run everything here." I took a taxi straight home and opened his closet. I touched the fabric of his suits. They were all cheap fakes. He only had one decent suit that he kept rotating for events. His watches were all fake. When he got home and went into the shower, I grabbed his phone and checked his banking app. His monthly salary alert was sitting right there. Credit, 185,000 naira. Not millions, not dollars. Just 185,000 because the company had already deducted a cash advance loan. I opened his email. There were 12 different loan applications. Every single one of them used my name as his next of kin. I confronted him in the bedroom that night. This is the intense scene I will never be able to erase from my mind. I did not scream. I just put his phone on the table with the salary alert glowing and told him he lied to me. I told him he was not a car dealer, just a manager collecting a basic salary. He did not deny it. He did not cry or apologize. He completely switched into a monster. "So what?" he sneered, looking down at me. "You really think any rich man is going to marry you? A tired bank teller with a small yanch. I upgraded your life. You were absolutely nothing before I came along. I gave you a dream to live in, and you should be thanking me." He paced around the room, saying that living a fake life is what everyone does to survive. He said I thought he was rich, and now I know he was faking everything. So what? He told me that is just what marriage is. You just manage. Then he leaned in and said the most painful, disgusting thing to try and break my spirit. "If you leave me now, you will just go right back to your miserable, poor life. No decent man will ever want a divorcee who is already used." I did not shed a single tear in front of him. I calmly packed a small duffel bag and took a taxi straight to my father's house. My father did not yell or say "I told you so." He just sat on the porch, held my hand, and quietly said, "My daughter, a man who marries you with a lie will only bury you with a lie." I stayed in my childhood bedroom for 2 weeks. Kelvin called my phone constantly, not to apologize, but just to demand I come back to the house and cook his meals. He even called my mother and told her I was being way too proud. So I did the one thing his fragile ego never saw coming. I went back to Prestige Autos. I did not go to see Kelvin. I went straight to Mr. Hadi. I dressed in my old, sharp bank uniform, and I carried my printed CV. I walked into his glass office. "Sir, my husband lied to me and told me he owns this entire place," I said evenly. "I know he is just your manager. But I also know that for the last 3 months, he has been secretly collecting 200,000 naira extra from your cash buyers, claiming it is an import duty fee, and pocketing the cash. I have the proof saved from his phone. I used to be a banker. I know exactly how to audit financial books. Give me 1 single week as a cashier at this desk, and I will show you exactly what he is doing." Mr. Hadi leaned back, looked at me for a very long time, and nodded. "You are the wife of that idiot?" he asked. "Okay, you have 1 week. It only took me 4 days. I went through the ledgers and found 2.1 million naira that Kelvin had completely stolen. I found text messages proving he was secretly renting out the luxury display cars at night for weddings without any permission. I even found a chain of messages where he told another young girl last month that he owned the dealership and was preparing to make her his second wife. Mr. Hadi fired him on the spot on a busy Saturday afternoon. He did it right in the middle of the showroom floor, in front of all the wealthy customers and the rest of the sales staff. He called the security guards to physically collect Kelvin's uniform polo shirt. I was standing right there behind the reception desk. "You cannot do this to me," Kelvin shouted, pointing at Hadi. "This is my business." Mr. Hadi just laughed, pointed directly at me and shook his head. "Ask your wife," Hadi said loudly. "She is my new operations manager. She officially owns more of this place right now than you ever did." The revenge was not just watching him get thrown out into the street. Mr. Hadi actually offered me the position permanently. He offered me a massive salary of 450,000 plus sales commission. It was significantly more money than Kelvin had ever seen in his life. I accepted it immediately. I filed for an official annulment on the legal grounds of financial fraud. My lawyer presented the fake Amazon Ring receipt, his fake ownership claims, and the 12 defaulted loan applications in my name. The court granted the annulment in exactly 3 months. The judge legally ordered him to repay my family's 4 million naira. He is currently paying it back at 50,000 naira a month, using the meager salary from his brand new job working as a night shift security guard at a dusty used car lot across town. Last week, Kelvin actually walked back through the glass doors of Prestige Autos to beg. He walked up to Mr. Hadi's glass office and saw me sitting behind the massive desk, wearing a real tailored suit, signing actual financial documents. "Amara, please," he whispered, looking pathetic. "You are rich now. Just help me out." I opened my desk drawer, pulled out the $89 Amazon ring I had kept, and walked around the desk. I dropped the cheap metal into his sweaty palm. I married a very rich man, I told him, looking completely through him. But that man died. I have never met you before in my life. Now get out of my dealership before I call security. He closed his fist around the fake diamond, turned his back, and quietly walked out the front doors into the heavy afternoon traffic.